All right, students, so we are going to be making some lemurs today. I have my white paper here, I have my pencil, and so what I'm actually going to start by doing is kind of having an idea of where I want my lemurs to go. I think I'm going to make a family of lemurs kind of along this line right here. And I'm kind of drawing this super lightly with pencil first. I have this little paper here that I will have up on the website as well. But I have this little paper here that shows you how to draw a lemur from step 1 all the way down. So I'm going to start, I have to pull this off just so you can see my paper. But I'm going to start by drawing 2 W's. Where the end of the last W is a little bit longer. And I think I'm gonna make, like I said, a family of lemurs. Okay, and I'm just kind of sketching out where my lemurs are going. Then the next step is to draw this curved line that connects the centers of the 2 W's. Probably should have made the center of my W's a little higher, but that's okay. Then I'm going to draw their heads, which are kind of oval shaped. You can kind of see like this. They're kind of come off the front and down. Okay. Then the next part is this curved line for the body that connects the head to that back leg. Now we need their tail and their little edge of their face. So lemurs actually have really long tails that are about as long as their body. And they have super long tails that kind of help them balance when they're climbing and running. I'm going to add this little edge of their face here. And then last but not least is just to add their details. Stripes on their tail, their face, their feet. But I might wait to do those with my Sharpie. Now, you guys will be doing this at home, so please make sure if you are using a Sharpie that you are putting something under your paper. You do not want to ruin the surface that's under your paper, whether it be your desk or your table at your home, so please make sure you're being careful. So now I'm just going to go ahead and outline my lemurs with my Sharpie. Now you don't have to use Sharpie, of course. I'm using pretty simple supplies in this video, but feel free to kind of trade anything out. You can use black marker or black crayon to outline your lemurs. So I'm actually going to add something kind of a little interesting and different to this lemur, because lemurs are actually one of the only animals that the females are completely dominant over the males. So the females, they kind of have like a head female, and they call her the queen lemur. So this is going to be my queen lemur. And you guys know that anytime I draw something with pencil, I always like to go back, and if I can see any of those pencil lines, I always like to erase those. Okay, so now that my lemurs are done, I'm going to start sketching out the background with my pencil first as well. So Lemurs actually live in the forests of Madagascar. Madagascar is an island off the coast of Africa. So I'm gonna put some forest in the background, but of course you are the artist. You can make your background however you would like. But I'm gonna kind of keep this a little realistic here. And kind of going behind my lemurs, I'm gonna draw my horizon line, which we know that a horizon line is where the ground meets the sky. So I'm drawing my horizon line, I'm drawing my tree trunks that are gonna come down behind my lemurs. I always draw everything with pencil first, so I know I have everything where I want it. I always make sure to draw very lightly. So if I make a mistake, it's easy to erase. Okay, then I need some more trees kind of off in the distance, back a little farther. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I might put some flowers down here just to kind of add a little more interest in my foreground. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to take my Sharpie and kind of go over all those details that I just made. Again, I still made sure to have my paper underneath because you can see this soaked through my paper. All of that would have been on my table. Okay, so now everything has been outlined, so I'm just gonna go through and, you know me, I'm going to erase all of those pencil lines. Okay guys, so there is my lemur so far. So now I can start adding color or anything else I wanna do. I'm gonna do something kind of different, and you don't have to do this step, but if you'd like to, you can. I'm going to take that same piece of paper that I was using under my paper to kind of catch any of these Sharpie marks, and I'm going to lay that over top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw little leaves, a little pattern of leaves in my trees, because if I'm pressing down pretty hard, so you can kind of see this paper is on top of the paper that I've drawn my lemurs on. And what will happen is if I'm pressing pretty hard, this will kind of leave an indentation in my paper underneath, my paper that my project is on. And then when I go to color, it'll leave these little marks for leaves. So this is kind of a fun way of adding texture and details to your project. You can also take that same piece of paper and make some lines going down your tree trunks to make them look like they have some more texture. Again, make sure you're pressing down with good pressure. Okay, now I think my paper is finally ready for some color. Like I said, I'm going to do this with crayons. What's great about crayons, just kind of similar to colored pencils or anything else, is you can press lightly and get a light color. So my lemurs are gonna be gray. So you can press lightly and I'm getting kind of this really soft gray. And then to add some shadows, I can just press a little harder. And adding some shading is a really nice way of making kind of a flat picture look a lot more interesting and a lot more well, three-dimensional. So I'm going to continue doing that. You can see also while I'm coloring, I have a little paper behind just so I don't accidentally go off my paper and onto my table. And I don't know if it's picking up on camera very well, but you can see my little textures from my leaves coming through. I love it. So right now I'm just kind of going through, you can see I've been adding kind of shadows and stuff with my green, trying to do a variety of greens to kind of make it a little more interesting. Now I'm just adding little tufts of grass with my darker green on top of my lighter green, just to kind of show some more interest. So many lemurs spend their entire lives in the trees. Some of them can actually go their whole lives without ever even touching the ground. I know mine are on the ground because I really wanted to be able to show you this cute little family, but I thought that was a really interesting fact about lemurs, that they really can go their whole lives without ever touching the ground. But many lemurs are endangered because of habitat loss, which means people are cutting down the forests and the trees that they live in. Last but not least, I'm just again adding some shading on my flowers down here at the bottom. I started with the red for the centers. I did kind of a lighter orange for the petals, and now I kind of have this darker orange going from the center kind of up the petals just a little bit. Just kind of adds a little bit of dimension, makes them look not quite so flat. Okay guys, so there are my finished lemurs. Again, you can use any kind of supplies that you have at home. You can use crayons, oil pastels, colored pencils, markers, whatever you have that you can make this at home, you can. Again, you can do whatever kind of background you want to do. I will put this sheet as well on the website. So have fun with this, guys.